They scored one run. Can we be proud of that? Should we be proud of that? That the Phillies managed to actually swing the baseball bats to produce a singular run in this entire series against the Houston Astros, where they completely wasted, and embarrassed their own starting pitching staff, who was just absolutely filthy, absolutely great. They wasted fantastic performances from Ranger Suarez, from Zach Wheeler, and a good performance from Christopher Sanchez in today's game. Once again, a great starting rotation performance, and it still deems the fact that the Phillies starting rotation is one of the best in baseball, if not the best in baseball. And I did state after yesterday's recap, well, during yesterday's recap actually, that yeah, this series doesn't really change my mindset on this team. I know where the flaws are. We all know the flaws. We all know the strengths. This series really doesn't change that fact. Yes, it's frustrating, but the series doesn't change the fact that we all know the same things with this team, is that the starting rotation is great, and it is the best thing about this team. The bullpen is very shaky, on borderline bad, and then your offense is so fucking hot and cold, and is just not good enough to where you cannot compete for a World Series with this lineup. You're playoff caliber. You're 100% playoff caliber, just because you have so many playoff spots in Major League Baseball to begin with. So, with this rotation by itself, you're most likely going to make the playoffs. That's not what we're debating here. It's the fact that this team has World Series aspirations, and your lineup's not good enough, and your bullpen's not good enough, and this clearly showcased that in this series. And yes, the Mets series was an absolute extreme. This was an absolute extreme of the offense. The offense was very fun to watch against the New York Mets. The offense wasn't so much fun to watch against the Houston Astros. It was borderline very freaking aggravating, and wanted to pull your hair out, because this team just could not find ways to produce runs until the fucking top of the 8th inning, where, oh yeah, they got a run off of a sacrifice fly by Brandon Marsh. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Oh yeah, you tied the game 1-1. Oh boy, you tied the game 1-1, and then you immediately allowed the lead to the Astros in the bottom of the 8th inning from Kerkering. Just, what the fuck are you supposed to do here? What the fuck are you supposed to do here? And it really just it really just puts the icing on the cake. And we did talk about this in yesterday's stream as well, about the comments that Dave Dombrowski made on the team and the moves that they do and do not need to make. And obviously, the one main thing that he pointed out, and like I said, I'm paraphrasing here, where he's basically talking about how he views this team as good enough and he doesn't need to make major additions to the lineup because he thinks this lineup is good enough. And I'm just like, that paired with this series is just so funny. It is so funny, because how do you look at this team, this lineup as constructed, and think this lineup is World Series caliber? Like I said, playoff caliber. You're not world. There's two differences here. There's two extremes on that scale. There's just a team that's good enough to get to the playoffs, and whatever happens. And there's a team that, oh yeah, that team is a World Series caliber team. That is a team that is going to fight to win a World Series. Versus, they get into the playoffs. Whatever happens with the lineup, man. Maybe they got hot, maybe they got cold, blah, blah, blah. That's the Phillies lineup. They're not a Dodgers lineup. They're not a Yankees lineup. They're not what other teams that are out there that are really, really good? Would I consider the Mets lineup? Mets, I would say it's better than the Phillies, obviously, lineup-wise. Cubs, they're not better than a Cubs lineup, from an offensive production standpoint. They're just not on that par. But like I said, they're good enough to get to the playoffs, but you're not, yeah, that's a World Series caliber lineup. Yeah, a World Series caliber lineup where you have so many fucking question marks in your outfield offensive positions, and basically you have one guy on this team that is going to average over 20 home runs this year, and yeah, that's the team that's going to win a fucking World Series. Oh yeah, boy. Good job there, Dave Dombrowski. And also, I'll throw some shade to John Middleton, because I also think he's really responsible for this as well, for cheapening out this offseason and not maybe allowing Dave Dombrowski to have the resources, but then that also gives Dave Dombrowski the benefit of the doubt, which he really does not deserve. So it falls on both of those guys, because even with a limited probably cash flow, you could probably still go out and find better acquisitions. You can't. We all knew in the offseason that they needed to make changes in the outfield. We all know this. They had to not go into this season with Brandon Marsh and Johan Rojas as the center field platoon, and they did it again. They did it again. They did it again because for some reason they just think it's good enough. They just think it's good enough. And then, oh yeah, Max Kepler is the other addition to the lineup. No shade to Max Kepler, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Decided to run another season with Alec Boehm. I don't care that he's bringing his average all the way up. The dude produces no power. He's just single. You have one guy in this lineup that is producing power, I would say somewhat on a consistent basis, but has really struggled this month. And going into the month, basically this entire month, he has really struggled. It's Kyle Schwarber. But he's the only guy that is going to most likely hit over 20 home runs on this team this year. That is not good enough. Nowhere close to good enough. Nick Castellanos does not hit home runs enough as he used to. Trey Turner does not hit home runs enough as he used to. And regardless of, with Trey Turner, his average on-base percentage, he's not hitting for power as nearly as he should be. Who else? JT's just not going to do that. Bryson Stott's not going to do that. Kepler, I know Kepler can get into one every now and then, but he just doesn't do it on a consistent basis enough to where it's deemable and good. Marsh isn't going to do that. Rojas ain't going to do that. It's just, what are you expecting? You need a power bat in this lineup. You need probably multiple power bats in this lineup. And for some reason, your fucking president of baseball operations thinks and deems this lineup as good enough, where it's just simply not. And that is just a gigantic joke. And a fucking gigantic slap in the face to Phillies fans that saw this coming from a mile away. When they all knew in the offseason that you needed to make additions to this team if you wanted to go still and fight for that World Series. You needed to make changes in the outfield. You needed to bring some additions into the bullpen, like re-signing a Hoffman, re-signing an Estevez or something like that, or bringing more viable bullpen arms. You did none of that. You did none of that. Yes, you have an elite starting rotation, and this starting rotation is very fun to watch on a consistent basis. It's not going to win you a World Series. Like this, for as good as the starting rotation is, it can't carry you to win a World Series. I'd be shocked if that's the case. It's not going to work like that. The Phillies had some of the... We've seen this before as Phillies fans, too. The Phillies had the best rotations, probably one of the best rotations ever assembled for a couple of years in a row in 2010 and 2011. Where did that get them? Got them to the NLCS and the NLDS the very next year. In the 2011, it was one of the best rotations they probably have ever had. And their offense completely imploded in the NLDS because their offense wasn't good enough. It's the same goddamn shit. It is. You have a fantastic starting rotation. Your offense isn't good enough. Your bullpen's not good enough. No, we're nowhere close to good enough. And your president of baseball operations thinks it's good enough to where he doesn't have to go to the trade deadline and acquire a big bat. He thinks there are internal options that is going to help this team. Now, do I agree with the sentiment of putting some starting rotation guys in the bullpen for the playoffs? Yes, that's something that we've also been calling for, whether that be a Ranger Suarez, whether that be a Christopher Sanchez, or a Jesus Luzardo. One of those three guys is going to end up in the bullpen come October. That is going to be the case. That is 100% a fact. But you still need another high-leverage arm. You still need another to take some stress off of the other your three high leverage guys that you have been using consistently, because Matt Strama's eventually fell off a wall. Jordan Romano just isn't good enough as the main guy. And Kerkering, he's young and he's getting better as that guy, even though today he did allow the go-ahead run to the Astros, but he's been good more than not. But I still don't think he's fully ready full-time for that role. They need something. They need something, and they just don't have it. They just don't have it. And Dave Dombrowski just doesn't think there's a reason to go out to the trade deadline and make those moves. And some people are saying, oh, maybe is that a smokescreen from Dave Dombrowski? Is that the case? No, I'm not banking on that, because what if Dave Dombrowski done these past trade deadlines to make me believe he's just going to do something gigantic and magical and shock us? No, it's not going to happen. He only does moves that marginally make you better. Just by the margins. Nothing that's drastic, nothing that's anything else. Just by the margins. Go out and get an Estevez. You go out and get an Austin Hayes. That really didn't make you that much better. What did he do with the 2020? What did he do with the 2023 trade deadline? I don't even remember, honest to God. I really don't. I really don't remember. 2022, yeah, he got Syndergaard. He got Brandon Marsh. He brought in Dave Robertson. I don't know what else he brought in. Matter of fact, I don't know if he brought in a bat or something like that. I think it was just those things that he brought in. Oh, the bat obviously with Brandon Marsh, but I don't remember anything else, honest to God. Uh, uh. So I just don't know. I just don't know. But it's annoying. It's very annoying. So going to the game specifically for today, like seriously, it's the same shit. You got dominated by Hunter Brown. Christopher Sanchez did his thing. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 11 strikeouts on 99 pitches. He was fantastic. He was fantastic. But for Hunter Brown, 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 9 strikeouts, no walks, 99 pitches. He was just great. In terms of just the game, 1, 2, 3 inning in the first, double play in the second inning, Stott infield single in the third, nothing happened. 1, 2, 3 in the fourth, 1, 2, 3 in the fifth, leadoff single by Marchand in the sixth, and then strike out the side the rest of the batters. 1, 2, 3 in the seventh. You got your run in the top of the eighth. Stott walked, Marchand single, first and third. Marsh hit the sacrifice fly. You tie the game up, and then Trey Turner struck out. Then Kerkering gave up the run in the bottom of the eighth inning, and in the top 9 you go down 1, 2, 3 with the heart of your order up. It's just not good. You had 4 hits the entire game. Trey Turner 0 for 4, Kyle Schwarber 0 for 4, Alec Boehm 0 for 4, Castellanos 1 for 4, Kepler 0 for 3, Kemp 0 for 3, Stott 1 for 2, Marchand 2 for 3. So Marchand had 2 of your 4 hits today, and then Marsh 0 for 2 with a sac fly. You did have a chance with runners in scoring position. That was the sac fly by Marsh, and basically the other things didn't count. What else is there? What else is there? No, basically it. Your pitching was great this series. There is no denying that. Your pitching was fantastic. And this tweet from Matt Gelb right here. Phillies starters in the series, 19 and 2/3 innings, pitched 3 runs, 5 walks, 26 strikeouts. Astros swept them. How does that make sense? How does your pitching dominate that good, and then you get swept in the series? You allowed how many runs in total? You allowed 5 runs in totality in this entire series. You scored 1. How? It's insane. It's insane. It's insane with this goddamn team. It's so drastic on the up and down. Crazy. And now you have a series this weekend with the Atlanta Braves. And for the Braves standpoint, I think they're still playing the Mets later on tonight, unless they're playing right now. Let me see. They play at 7 o'clock, so you don't know what's going to happen with that series if they win of 3 of 4 or they split with the Mets. And for the pitching matchups for that series, it's going to be, I think, Jesus Luzardo gets one of the games. Okay, Mick Abel tomorrow, Jesus Luzardo on Saturday, and then Ranger Suarez on Sunday. Abel against Edler, Luzardo against Schwellenbach, and then Suarez against Spencer Strider Sunday afternoon. And then you come home for 3 games against San Diego. Jesus. My God. If they lose this series to the Braves, which realistically is a good chance of that happening. Oh God. Oh God. Crazy stuff. Let's go to the Anytime Hotline. I'm trying to run this a little bit quicker for you guys, just because I still have other stuff to do, and also I'm like in the middle of the process of dinner being made downstairs, so I just figured I'd get this out for you guys. So we have a voicemail from Sean. It's 2 minutes, so let's get to that, and we'll get to some of you guys in the chat and wrap it up.
So let me, as a frustrated Phillies fan, deliver my thoughts to a bunch of other frustrated Phillies fans. You know, I sit back and I say to myself, what a wasted opportunity it is this year. The Philadelphia Phillies starting staff, in my opinion, is, I think, the best in baseball. Good enough to win you a World Series in 2025. Most teams don't have what we go to the mound with every night. Most games that we don't lose because our starting pitcher, quote unquote, doesn't have it. If this team had any kind of offense, that could score 3 runs a game, 4 runs a game. This team would win a World Series in 2025. If this team had 2 relievers at the back end that could, as Bill Belichick says, do their job, this team would win a World Series this year. And, I mean, what worries me moving forward is that Dave Dombrowski will make panic trades and get rid of the young hitters that we have in the minor league system now
He won't do
that are the guys that we're truly going to win World Series with, and trade them away for long-in-the-tooth veterans that are past their prime and aren't going to be able to get us where we need to go.
He won't do that.
But you've got 2 years left of Zach Wheeler, a couple months left of Ranger Suarez. We can go on and on. I just feel so bad for those guys. Total organizational malpractice as to what's going on here. Inexcusable. 1 run in 27 innings against anybody, and you're a legitimate contender, so they say? Not possible.
I mean, perfectly said. Perfectly said. It's just Dave Dombrowski's not going to tarnish the farm system. He hasn't done it in any trade deadline since he's been here, so I don't expect him to do that thing. I just don't see it happening. He just hasn't done it. So I just don't think he's going to be going gung-ho, trading all the prospects away now for that shot. So, I don't know. But yeah, you're spot on. It's just, you're wasting so much good starting pitching. Wasting so much good starting pitching with this just 2 drastically tiers of offense. With a couple stretches of games, they'll score all these runs, and then a couple of stretches of games, they won't score anything. It's just never anything in between. And the bullpen. And the bullpen. Your terribly constructed bullpen. Just horrible. Horrible stuff here, boys. Horrible stuff. So, get to you guys in the chat right here. And we'll move on to the rest of our day. Rob, how you doing? Can't wait for your rant, Eve, and more so Brodes and all above all Ricky Bo. Well, I think Brodes is just gonna post his one of his segments from WIP because he's on WIP right now. Frank, how you doing? It was truly pathetic. There's 2 different accounts: Everyday Phillies and Everyday Mets. So I'm assuming it's the same exact guy. Or unless he changed his name midway through and then changed it back to, I don't even know. Dude's trolling. Cannot blame the pitching staff for this series of starters gave exactly. I'd like to know who's running this train. I can't believe Dave Dombrowski could be this dumb since Game 4 of the 2022 World Series. The same hitters basically 4 years in a row. It's insane. I don't know, man. I don't know. Rough Seas, not passionate like Rob. It's a team dynamic. Julian, now it's too late because you aren't trading 3 hitters at the deadline. He won't even do 1. Howie Roseman will build a better roster than Dave Dombrowski. Probably Danny Briere would do the same thing too. Howie Roseman and Danny Briere would be way better than Dave Dombrowski. It's like they didn't even bring the starting pitching staff showed up and basically nothing else. 2024, 23, 22, 23, 24 playoffs with the recent collapse after capturing first in the NL East. They fall apart under pressure, confidence issue, and leadership issues. I don't think they should trade any prospects away. He hasn't been trading prospects away, and not one guy has resigned after the season. Or when he does trade a prospect, the person they trade for doesn't resign. There is something on Twitter, only 10 teams ever got swept while allowing 5 runs or less. Holy hell. Trade for the 26 to 29 era. It's not the stats. The team is mentally spent. It's not a confident or competitive team. And then Everyday Mets trolling once again. So, that'll do it for today, everybody. It's shorter stream than normal, but I had other stuff to do tonight. So, wanted to get this out for you guys when I had the little bit of free time. Yeah. So, appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. So don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. So appreciate you guys for tuning out today. And for the weekend, for the Flyers draft and all that stuff, I'm going to be with Snow the goalie tomorrow when they're in the war room doing their broadcast. So I won't have anything here that I know of. So if you want to watch anything for the draft, you can view on Snow the Goalie because I'll be there with them. And we'll just talk. And then during the weekend, I'll have my overall thoughts on the Flyers draft. So, and then probably we'll save Phillies Braves for Sunday afternoon after that game. So you'll see something pop up in your subscription feed. So appreciate you guys for tuning out. Don't forget to leave your comments, comment section, likes, hit the subscribe button. Code TTP Sports, $20 off your first purchase. That's the Geek Deal. Do not pass it up. So appreciate you guys.